Hi, this is Katie, your instructor, and I wanted to give you some feedback and some tips on how to create MLA citations, correctly formatted MLA citations with all the information you need to get an A in this course. Because formatting your papers, your outcome assignments correctly is what's going to bump you up to an A in this course versus or a B versus a C, which is where you're meeting the outcomes but not going above and beyond to earn an A or a B in the class. So I recommend using a combination of Zotero, Bib, as well as the databases as your starting point for creating your MLA citations. Also, don't forget to use the resources that are available to you in Canvas in this course, the MLA lesson that you completed for one of your weekly assignments, as well as all the resources that I put in made available to help explain how an MLA source should be cited. So I'm going to talk over the Zotero Bib instructional video that I posted in your annotated bibliography assignment to give you some tips on how to format your citations. So if you have a website or other source that you find online, Zotero Bib is a good place to start. So you can see here, this is a website about children's books authors. The student copies the URL and pastes it into Zotero Bib. That's the website URL. And what Zotero Bib does is it pulls as much information as it can about this website and puts it into a citation. However, Zotero Bib can't always grab all of the information from the website. It might not get the author. It might get the title incorrect. It might put the website title as the title of the article. So what you need to do is you need to look at the MLA citation that Zotero Bib has come up with, make sure it's accurate, and if not, click on that edit button below the citation in Zotero Bib, and this is where you can make changes to the citation. Sometimes a Zotero Bib will pull the website title, the article title, the publisher all into the title of the source, and it'll miss the author. So your job is to go in and fix it using the edit tool. Put the correct author, change the title, put the publisher. If you see a date on the page, add the date to the citation. Okay, so this is all your job to make sure that this MLA citation is correct. Okay, so that was one example of a website. Here, Zotero Bib shows you how you can use the URL for a free, for an article you found free through a website. You also use that URL here, and it will create a bibliography for you. This one here is different. This is a library database. So you have two options for citing a library database. What Zotero Bib is saying here is if you're in a library database and you see a DOI, which is a document object identifier, I can't remember the full name. Anyway, if you see this DOI, you can copy that DOI, pop it into Zotero Bib, and it will cite that journal article for you. And that's pretty good. You can use that feature, but you're going to have to edit the citation slightly. What I'm seeing in your student papers is that if you use the DOI to get the citation from Zotero Bib, instead of putting the database where you accessed the article, which is really important to the reader, that's really important part of the citation. You're explaining to your reader how you accessed that article. So this way they could access that article. You're providing a trail to that source. So for some reason, Zotero Bib can't pick up on the database where you found it in because you just gave it the DOI. So it lists this doi.org/crossref, or in parentheses crossref. I don't know why. You need to replace that with the name of the database where you found it, either in the EBSCOhost series of database or Opposing Viewpoints or ERIC, whatever the name of the database is, ProQuest. You need to place that into the citation, replace that doi.org, which just doesn't really provide the reader with any useful information. Or an even better way to get the citation for an article you found in the database is to use the database. all of the library databases have a citation feature that will cite the source for you in MLA, APA, and many other sources. So if you're in an EBSCOhost database, look at the article, look over to the right of the article, you'll see a little icon and the word cite. Click on that to cite the source in MLA or another format. So make sure you select MLA. Once again, you have to read the citations carefully. This database is, it's not their job to make sure you get the citation correct. It's a added service, but sometimes they'll have the author's name in all caps, or they'll have a street address as the author's name, or something else funky in the citation. So you need to go in and fix that in your final paper, in your final annotated bibliography, or in the works cited in your final paper later in the semester. Another really cool feature that's available through Zotero Bib is that it'll show you how to format your citation in text within the text of your paper, and this you'll need for your final paper. So that little icon over to the right of each citation, if you click on it, it gives you some options. How will this citation show up in your paper? You select, like, will the author's name appear, will it not? What page number, if it's a quote, where did you get it from? Add that information, click on it, and it'll show you how to cite, an in-text citation within your paper. And you'll need to do this for your final paper, so this is a good tool to have. I want to go back to my point about including an author's name in an in-text citation and not including it. So if you're writing a paper and you're going to introduce an idea or a quote from an author, there are two ways to introduce that information. So first would be to say something, if we're looking here at the screen where it says example paragraph within in-text citation. So say you started with, Derwin and others conducted their training with students preparing to be social workers, etc., etc. Because I introduced, or the student introduced the author, Derwing, in the sentence, at the end, you do not need to include the author's name in the in-text citation because we know that this was from Derwing. However, if you say something like a few researchers in the linguistics field have developed blah, 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 but you don't say the name of the author or authors, within your text, within the sentence, you don't introduce them, then you need to include the names of the authors in the in-text citation. And then that way, the reader will be able to go down to the works cited page at the end of your paper and find the actual source that you are referring to in your paper. They'll go down to Derwing and they can find it in your works cited. I think as a general rule, it's good practice to actually include, introduce the author in your own writing. Say, Shana Cox believes that blah, 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 blah. By introducing these authors, and as if they're credible authors and if they're experts, you're saying, hey, I did my research. Not only do I think this, but so do these experts in the field. And so you're using these authors as evidence. So it's a good thing. So I say, it's good practice to actually start by introducing the author. If you're going to share someone's idea, tell us whose idea it was. But anyway, so that's when you would or would not use, or why you would or wouldn't use the author's name in the in-text citation. I'm going to stop for now. If you have any more questions, don't hesitate to contact me. Please use the resources you have available in Canvas for citing sources. You are welcome to use other citation tools. These are just some tools that I think are helpful and some strategies, but if you have another approach, that's awesome. Oh, maybe one last thing. When you're putting together your annotated bibliography, don't forget to list your sources in alphabetical order. Okay, that's another way to get an A paper. Make sure they're listed in alphabetical order. So if the reader sees something from Shana Cox, they can jump down to the bottom of your works cited and quickly go to C and find Shana Cox. Okay, so make sure you list all of your sources in your annotated bibliography and in your final paper in alphabetical order. Okay, I'm done. Have a great day. Bye.